Hey Clemson, this is Kylie Lawrence doing my vlog, and I went to the New Student Dialogue on mental illness in college students. And first, I'm going to answer your questions on your video blog page, and then I'll get into describing how I felt about the whole New Student Dialogue experience. Okay, first of all, you asked, do you feel your group achieved true dialogue? Why or why not? Um, I feel like some people did. Honestly, most people just sat there in silence and didn't really describe anything. They just listened to what everybody else had to say. The instructors had to pretty much pull teeth in order to get anybody to talk. And it was actually really, I felt kind of not embarrassed, but hesitant to talk because nobody else would. The times that people did speak up, I feel like we achieved true dialogue, but I don't think that there was much dialogue at all, to be honest. There were a couple active voices. The main active voices would be kids disagreeing about other kids' opinions of bipolar disorder or schizophrenia and that kind of thing, or the specific illnesses we talked about. Personally, I was one of the more reserved voices because I never experienced any of these mental health issues before. I I don't I played an okay role in my group. I don't think I was played a pivotal role in my group or was a very active voice, but I know some kids were. Personally, I did not want to talk in my group because there were a couple of kids that always just had questions that I didn't feel comfortable answering, and so I just didn't feel inclined to talk at all. Okay. And your next question, why do you think dialogue is a component of CU1000? I think it's a component of CU1000 because everybody needs to learn how to discuss their opinions of specific things in non-derogatory ways. I think it's a really good idea to have these new student dialogues, but yeah. And I think it's a useful tool, but I feel like the new student dialogue needs to be structured in a different way because I feel like I didn't get enough out of it as I could have. At the beginning with the pie charts and going through the three differences between dialogue, discussion, and conversation or something, I thought that was really useful because that really kind of hit home what all the differences were for me, and I feel like that is one of the components that should be included, and I think that that really helped, and that's one of the parts of the discussion where I actually felt people were talking. When we got to the second part about talking about the specific illnesses, I think people kind of shut down a little bit, but when we started out with just discussing normal topics like the difference between discussion and dialogue or confrontation and those kinds of things, people were more active. Yeah. Also, I think that the student dialogue, or just being able to understanding what dialogue is a key component to communicating with people, because I feel like when most people think of dialogue, they don't really think about it in the true definition as being something where there's not a winner, it's not an argument, it's just having common ground and expressing your opinions in a positive way instead of a negative way. And I feel like if you've kept anything in the new student dialogues, that should be the main thing. Yeah, I felt like the mental illness new student dialogue, I feel like it was more a discussion about stereotypes of mental illnesses than the actual illnesses themselves. I think that because when I was in there, most people were describing like their opinions of each mental illness, but we weren't really like discussing how it affected each person. And I don't really know how most kids responded to like the questions that the instructors were asking. I mean, we had activities where people were involved, but mainly we all pretty much just sat there and listened to the instructors describe like what they thought of mental illnesses instead of us actually understanding what they are. I feel like it needs to be less about like the opinions that college students have on mental illnesses and instead more about the effects. So I hope you understood that. I'll see you later, Clemson. Bye.